Hi, I wanted to talk a little bit today about dealing with loss and what kind of a broken world we live in. So, I had gone on a hike yesterday with some friends, and we sat by this creek for a minute or two, and we were just recollecting on old times when we were in middle school and high school and whatnot. And we had brought up this person that passed away a few years ago in a car accident, and they were saying whatever, but I just kind of stopped talking and just started thinking, even in that spot. And, I hope that she believed the gospel. I mean, that's pretty much, that's a lot of it. But also, like, there are so many people in this world who are just so broken. And the loss of something or someone or an idea or whatever makes it that much harder. Because, as a Christian, I recognize the fact that I have friends that don't believe the gospel, or I have people who obviously think differently than me, which is fine, but I want the best for them. So it's always hard kind of already knowing that, like, and I don't want to say already knowing, but somebody that who, may not believe the gospel at any point in their life, you're just not going to see them again. That's such a hard thing to hold on to, or even like relationships, right? Where people may, you might see somebody one time and or you might see somebody for 5 months and then they're gone, they're out of your life, and it's like, who could that person have been, or like who, like what did that person mean, or like, you know what I'm saying? There's certain things that just make me think that, like, I wish I knew people better, right? Because I love understanding people, because it builds a friendship and a relationship that can be found nowhere else. Let's take a test here. What's more rare, diamonds or trees? It sounds like a weird question, but I'm building up to something here. Well, turns out that trees are more rare because supposedly we're the only planet that has it, which I believe that's true personally. But diamonds can be found other places in the universe, other places in other galaxies and whatnot. So let's just keep whittling it down here. What's more rare, trees or people? Well, people. Okay, well, what's more rare, a kind person or an evil person? And I would argue that the nice person, the one who truly cares about you, is more rare. Okay, well, what's more rare, somebody who's doing the kindness because it looks good versus somebody who genuinely loves you? And with that in mind, we can whittle it all the way down to the love of Christ being the rarest thing there could be ever be found in the universe, and yet it's the most powerful. Like, it is just the most overwhelming thing that there can be found, and yet it's the rarest. Right? It's like finding what is it, the Heartstone, I think, from the Hobbit. I think it's what, or the Heart of the Mountain, I think is what it's called. But yeah, I mean, I was thinking too about this girl that I know, and she's very, very sweet. She had posted a post about her mom, or I'm pretty sure it's a mom. I really should ask her, but like, I guess she had something wrong with her, or maybe even cancer, or other stuff. And I just wonder, like, does she have somebody who understands her, or like, is somebody reaching out to be like, hey, I get it, kind of a thing. And it really should be me, but at the same time, I'm trying not to like step on anybody's toes. Like, if it's somebody who's super close to her, then yeah. But if it's somebody like me, I don't know. I don't. I feel like somebody might get the wrong thing if I do that. Yeah. I also look too at my grandma, who, she's having a lot of health complications lately, and we actually just got done talking here. Yeah, we were talking about people that she knew back in the day and whatnot, and it's hard. It's hard to let something go that you may have only known so much about, right? So, like, if you understand the fullness of something, I feel like it may actually be easier to let go. But for me, if I know something for a little bit, it's like, okay, what could have it been, right? Like, if it's just like a flower, right? Like, if a flower's full blown, full grown, and You see it die or in fall. It's not, it's not that big of a deal to me. But when you see it cut early, like if you're mowing the lawn and you cut down a flower, you cut down whatever, and it didn't even have its full chance to grow, I think that's something that pains me a little bit. And everybody goes through loss. It's just gonna happen. It's the sin nature that we live in, and it won't be like this forever. But it's a pain that it's happening to us now. And granted, yes, it is our own fault, but at the same time, it's hard to see people suffer. It's not really something I like. Obviously, I'm not really a masochist. I believe that's the term. Yeah, it's just hard, especially when the world will go back to normal, right? So like something happens in your life and it feels like that it's the greatest weight you've ever felt. Then you go outside and some guy's eating a hamburger with his wife, or it's like the world that's always a harsh truth, is that, like, granted, yes, the world doesn't revolve around you, but you are one of the most important things in it, right? Like, and God sees that too, where he sees you as important. He sees everybody as important, or people who put their faith in him as being, like, that's the whole reason why we are today where we are. Like, if there were no believers left, then obviously revelation would commence and all this other stuff. But the fact that God is long suffering shows us how much he loves us. Loss is just a natural occurrence. It just is. It's a shame. It really is a shame. Especially when you don't know the outcomes of someone. Like, I believe in the idea of a silent believer where, they can say it in the quietness of their own home, or believe quietly that, God will save them. But yet, there are so many people who are kind who do not know what's happening, or like, I don't know. It's sad.